Welcome to Whores Talk Horror.
We're not really whores. We just like wordplay.
Hello and welcome to Whores Talk Horror. I'm Sharon.
And I'm Melinda, and we are so very excited about this episode.
First of all, we are back in the studio where we used to record with a very special guest. And we are able to do so because vaccinations are a good thing.
Thank you, science!
Second, we have a return guest today and fellow Chicago Southsider who we just met in real life for the first time right now. Today's guest is no stranger to Whores Talk Horror. She's been our guest on this show twice, once to talk about her podcast, Comedians with Ghost Stories, which Mindy and I love, and we've also been guests on, and then again to play horror movie trivia with us. And speaking of trivia, she is here today to talk about her new trivia book titled One Day Smarter that is available for pre-order right now.
Ladies and gents, please welcome back writer, comedian, and author. Give it up for Emily Winter.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, what a nice introduction. Normally people are like, I don't know, she came in the door at the right time. Just throw her on the podcast. I very much appreciate it. I love that I was like, I haven't met you guys, and you're also Southside Chicago gals, and I walk in, and there's just deep dish pizza waiting, and it's the best hello, welcome back to town anyone could ever ask for.
Yay! Thank you for driving up to our neck of the
problem.
woods today.
I texted my dad, they're getting, because he was like, do you want to like have dinner? And I was like, oh no, they're getting Lou Malnati's, and it auto-corrected to Lou Malnourished. And I was like, that is the most ridiculous, like, opposite autocorrect you could ever have. Like, no.
You have one slice of Lou Malnati's and you're overnourished.
You're overnourished. Yeah.
Right.
Seriously, we'll pack you a doggy bag too if you want to take some home to your dad.
Well, clearly we're excited to have you, so thank you for being here.
Yes, you were the first guest we've had in person in like 15 months or more. I don't know how long it's been. So cheers to human interaction.
You can hear the clank. It's amazing.
And Emily's also drinking her first splooge.
What is it really called?
It's called Smooge.
Smooge?
Yeah,
It
it's
is
like
a
smoothie.
smoothie. It's an alcoholic pina colada smoothie that tastes just like a health smoothie.
It's really wild.
It goes down so good.
Yeah.
Have them for breakfast. Have them after your run. All right. Well, anyways, thank you, Emily. And if you are a regular Whores Talk Horror listener, you've probably heard the name Emily Winter before. But if you did not listen to our previous interview with her, Emily, please introduce yourself again. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you guys nailed it. That is everything. I mean, yeah. So I'm a stand-up comedian who has not stood up to do comedy in a very long time because of the pandemic. I've done it, 4 times or something in the last 6 months, so that's weird. But I'm a comedy writer, and I write for a Nickelodeon show, so I will be dropping a lot of F-bombs here.
Nice.
Because I can, You can't say anything on... Well, I love it, but it's hard. Like, oh, I can't say allergy on Nickelodeon. No, you cannot. You cannot say soda. They cannot drink soda. They cannot say allergy.
What's wrong with allergy?
It's demeaning to kids with allergies. Like, I'm allergic to you or something. That's bad. You can't say that.
Can you say, like, I'm allergic to peanuts?
If there really is a peanut allergy. Like, if that's really going to be a plot point. But otherwise, no.
Wow.
But it does make it makes your brain then have to like, okay, what can I say? And then you think up weird words that don't mean anything, and that's fun. So I'm not trying to put them down. I'm just saying it's a lot. So
That is a lot. I had no idea.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
I just assumed that we couldn't say all the good ones, but no, there's some, like, all the fun ones, all the splooge ones, but there's some regular words you cannot say.
Try and work splooge into an episode. Tell them it means something like when you jump into a pool and you splash someone, you splooge them.
We could try.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
My bosses are very cool about, like, you know what? Let's make them say no. Like, let's give it a try. Like, yeah.
Okay, I like
Let's make
that.
the network have to say no to it.
All right, Emily, when we spoke with you last year, episode number 73, if those of you haven't listened, you want to go back and listen, you were putting the finishing touches on your book, One Day Smarter. Emily, can you tell us a little bit about your book, how you came up with the idea to do a trivia book?
So I did not come up with the idea. I am just the writer. So basically, I'm pumped about it. It's coming out in October, and it is a book. It's like a book of random trivia tidbits, and I still do. It's unfortunately ending in September, but work for the NPR trivia show Ask Me Another. So I've been like a joke writer and a game writer for them for a while, and then I knew an editor at Penguin Random House who was like, "Hey, we've noticed that all trivia books have been written by men. Like, there's not one like major selling trivia book that is from a major publisher that's been written by women, and so we want somebody with like a sense of humor who like does comedy but also has a trivia background to write this book, and we would prefer that to be a woman just to get a fresh perspective on trivia." So that. I was there and happy to do it. So that was, so then I got to sort of put my own spin on it. And because I wrote it during the pandemic, my own spin was, let's make all of these facts uplifting, and either like neutral or uplifting. And I try to frame the whole book of like, you're gonna like get smarter, but also like I just want you to feel good when you read this. So like sad things about the world I just did not include because we all know them, you know? We don't know every sad thing, but we know a lot, and we've been bombarded with only that. But even so, I did ask my editor if I was allowed to do a chapter called Morbid Facts for Know-It-All Goths, because I love horror and morbid stuff, have a morbid sense of humor, and she said, yeah, I think you can spin that into a positive thing. So I have a whole chapter of very silly facts about death and scary stuff.
That was actually one of my questions because I wanted to know, did that chapter make it in? Yes. So
I'm really happy. Well, I talked to these ladies at this place called the Order of the New Death or something, and they are like, their whole mission is to figure out a way to reframe the way that Americans deal with death and to not think about it as such like a negative thing. And so they gave me a lot of their favorite facts, and also just like I interviewed them as part, and I was like, it's only sad because we say it's sad. Suffering is inherently sad, but like, does death have to be sad? So I try to look at it from that perspective.
Oh, yeah. You interviewed that woman on one of your episodes where I think it was your podcast where she talked about she's like a death coach.
Oh, maybe. Yes. But that is a different thing from my podcast. I'm trying to think about who I talked to about being a death coach.
But I thought she had some ghost stories as well.
Probably that. Mary Smith. Yes, probably. She had ghost stories, but also she's done all of this self-help. Let's prepare for like how to handle divorce and death and all of these things, like these major traumas in life. And so she was super cool.
But that's not, is that the organization you're talking about?
No,
or is this
the
different?
Order of the New Death is just this random, I was just like going down this rabbit hole of like, when we have the Venn diagram of positivity and death, what comes up? And I was like, these ladies are awesome. And I researched them, and I was like, okay, they look seriously legit. And so one of them was able to talk to me, which was really cool. And I think one of her favorite facts was that in the Victorian era, cemeteries were a place that you could just hang out. Like they were like overrun by people that just like had picnics in cemeteries and stuff. And it was seen as like a nice thing to do, to just go spend the afternoon there. Like that's where you wanted to be in your free time.
Cool.
I mean, Victorians they weren't the height of fun, but but I still think it's a cool different way to think about cemeteries.
That is. So, okay, so in terms of the amount of trivia in the book, like, did you have a max number of trivia that you like, kind of like trivia items, I should say, that you started out with, or did that sort of evolve organically as you started writing?
It just evolved, and I said it, like, I read a bunch of trivia books, and I realized, like, first of all, how poorly researched a lot of things are, and I totally get it. Like, I'm not, I don't have access to, like, the same academic libraries that, like, a PhD student who's working on this book for 10 years would, but by that point, you're data's out of date. So I get like dashed off stuff, but I did I included like a full bibliography because I just like don't I would read trivia books and be like, okay, this has over 1,000 facts. I can definitely do over 1,000 facts, but I'm like, this is not true. Like, I have read this in Smithsonian or the Atlantic. Like, this is just like a myth. And so I was like, okay. So the book is actually longer than I necessarily intended it to be, because I was like, at some point I was talking with my editor and I'm like, the internet makes truth just like this big question mark. So I want people to be able to look it up and know where I got it. So if they have a problem with it, they can go find it. Or if they think the New York Times doesn't do facts, then like that's between them and the New York Times. Like, let's cut out the middleman here. But I did try to use sources that I think are like reputable. And I built the chapters. I had ideas of what I wanted to do. And then I just started going down. Morbid Facts for Know-It-All Goths was my first idea for a chapter because it's my favorite stuff. But then after that, I just like, based on what I thought was interesting, which I think is where like gender and race and age and all of that come into play, because like I don't, we don't all think we're all, like white women, but we don't all think the same, but we would definitely probably go down a different path than say if there were 3 white men sitting here, like what you think is interesting. So I also like, I don't consider myself particularly smart or curious, and I think that makes me incredibly qualified to write this book, because I'm like, okay, fact, you better please me first. Like, I am the dumbest gatekeeper. Like, if you can get past me, you could go please the masses. But I'm not like a person who like ever like chose to open an encyclopedia ever in my life. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a long non-answer to your wonderful question.
No, I love it.
Do you have a favorite chapter in the book? Is it the Morbid Facts for Know-It-All Goths?
Absolutely, it's Morbid Facts. And then I put a bunch of quizzes. So over the pandemic, I also just like started my own business because I needed money, because all my jobs, like I was freelancing, doing a bunch of writing for NPR and everything went away. NPR like went way down, and a lot of my other jobs went away until I got my TV writing job. But like, I just started doing trivia online, like hosting trivia. And that was my main gig during the pandemic, or the first round, or whatever we're going to call that chunk of it. So I was doing online trivia. And so I did end up including a whole like chapter of trivia games at the end of the book, because I think it's just like, so then you can like play with friends and stuff. So that I am pumped about.
Was there a chapter in the book that you really wanted in there but got cut?
Nothing major got cut. Initially, I was thinking like, oh, I should do a chapter of like TikTok related, like something like modern, but then you just end up sounding like an old person. Like, I'm not that old, like I'm in my 30s, but I'm like, oh, TikToks, etc. What am I talking about? Like, what does that even mean? Like, I think I was originally like, here's how you do this dance challenge. Like, this book is supposed to last 5 years. Like, that's not gonna happen.
I was just gonna say that's gonna date it, and then TikTok, yeah, it's not gonna be around. It's gonna be replaced by something else in like a few years.
5 minutes, actually.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Oh wait, you know what? We just got a report, Spencer.
This just in. TikTok is old news.
What's it called? What's the new one?
Flip-flop.
Very good, very good.
So, okay, off the top of your head, how many items of trivia do you think we're talking here in this book?
I probably like, I don't know. I definitely like lost count at 1,000, because I was like, I need to make that number for my own, to be like, this is worth the money. But then I don't know what happened. But I do have a good flip-flop fact.
Ooh, let's hear it.
If you pre-order the book, you get extra content. So I did one that's like trivia for bros. And flip-flops are over 4,000 years old.
I believe it. They
are pretty like simple.
Yeah.
But I am sort of shocked anyway. Yeah.
4,000
cool.
years old. I mean, ancient Greece and stuff, like all the old tablets that were drawn, like hammered into the drawings. They all wore flip-flops, right?
Flip-flops are Crocs, I think.
Yes.
Yes, it's an old school shoe. Like, well, how else are you going to make a shoe when you don't have the skills or the tools or the materials? Like, it's a thing on your foot, and you put something to strap it on.
I guess I would imagine that they'd be more like mine, which are like fake plastic Birkenstocks, where it just goes over your foot once, and then like I don't know, flip flops are a little more complicated. There's an extra thing going on. I don't know. Now we're all just looking at my feet.
We're all looking at each other's shoes right
And
now.
I need to patch.
So are flip flops the oldest shoe?
Good question. I don't know.
That's gonna be in the next
Right.
book.
That'll be in the sequel. Ice skates are almost as old as flip flops, though. I didn't know that. They're really old. They're like 3,000 years old.
Huh.
I would imagine that these shoes would be the oldest shoes. And then what is a sock versus shoe? This is discussions we have in my house. Is that a slipper, or can I wear it to the bar? That's
Just a sock?
No, I mean like a sock with like a semi-hard bottom. Can you wear it to your corner bar?
You can. People, people might look at you weird.
And you probably don't want to walk around at home after you've been in the bar.
That's
with
true.
And I would
on.
not want to go into a bar bathroom wearing my house slippers.
Okay, all right, you're making very fair points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm a
didn't think about
germaphobe, so
that.
I don't wear any shoes in the house. Like, I have a sign outside my door that
Take 'em
says, well, actually it says, what does my sign
It's
say?
the log lady from Twin Peaks, and it says, "My log says to take off your
Yeah,
shoes."
my log says take off your shoes.
That's funny.
How was the process of writing your book? Did you think it was easier or harder to write a book?
I don't know. I think what shocked me the most is what I was saying about facts. Like it's very hard to find a fact in the age of the internet, and I think it's like very related to everything that's going on in the news, in like in these like extremely political fights. That like it is really, really hard to get to the bottom of something. Sometimes I would just like throw my hands up and email a professor, or sometimes I would just like ask my husband to start Googling something because I had gone to the edge of my brain on like how I could find it from reputable sources, and he's very good at it. He was like able to do it. But yeah, to me that was like, it was like really hard. It's hard to research. Yeah, but and also I guess just like sometimes you're just like, okay, I have to hit, because I did a certain number of facts every day and I don't remember what it was, but like some days I'm just like, I can't think of one more thing to be interested in, and then you have pandemic brain, which is like you just have been staring at this wall for 300 years and you're like, I can't think of anything outside these walls. So I think that was both helpful and like good to get me out of my head, but also a little bit hard. But yeah, there's like really cool fact podcasts, like trivia podcasts that I fell in love with. One is called Curiosity Daily.
I listen to them.
They're great, right?
They're going to be on my podcast.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, wonderful. What's your podcast?
Oh, we don't need to go into this, but quickly, it's called The Dictionary, and I read the dictionary, and every once in a while I'll have on guests. I just talk and make jokes and stuff.
He literally reads the dictionary.
A to Z.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So the two hosts of they're going to be
I love
on
them.
they're going to be on the episode for the word curiosity, which won't air until June of 2022, I think.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
You're that far in advance, ahead, or what?
No, I won't be recording it until closer to that time.
okay.
But I already know through the seas like how far that goes.
Because each episode is like 7 to 10 minutes. He reads like
15
a quarter
15 to
of a
20.
page. Oh my God. So it's going to take him like, I think he estimated
16
like
years?
16 years to get through the whole dictionary.
But anyway, they're going to be on my
That's awesome.
podcast.
And speaking of
they're
sea, they
great.
are from Chicago.
Yes, they
I know
are.
the one girl just moved to Asheville.
Yes.
But where I just went and did drugs, and the local newspaper interviewed me about it. I was like, okay, that is a different story.
So other trivia podcasts?
No Such Thing as a Fish. It's a British podcast of the QI. QI is like their Jeopardy there. So like all the researchers for QI are very funny, and they have this podcast every Friday that's just like they go down weird rabbit holes of facts. It's all of their favorite stuff that they learned that week. Those are my favorite two. There's some other ones that I like. The Weirdest Thing I Learned this week.
I listen to that too?
Yeah. Well, I think maybe you would like Fish if you are into So I either like, obviously I'm pulling facts from sources, but also trying to go to like regular, I don't know, source material, but also aggregators like that. So
Yeah.
you'll probably recognize a couple from Weirdest Thing and Curiosity Daily.
Yeah. When we get the book, because it's
We
pre-ordered.
pre-ordered it.
Oh, thanks guys. That's really nice.
Absolutely. I can't wait. Do you have any recommendations for someone who's trying to become a first-time author?
Oh, yeah. Just like TV writing, it's a stupid mess, but you gotta just try a million times. I mean, honestly, like this one fell into my lap, but this only fell into my lap because this is a sort of a tangent, but related. In 2017, I almost got my dream job and I got like interviewed for it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a writer on The Daily Show. This is the best. And I made it through all these rounds. And then I didn't get the job. And then I just like had a meltdown and I was like, what am I going to do? So then in 2018, I made it like a professional goal to get 100 professional rejections in a year. And so I like wrote about it and I started like putting it on social, like, hey, I got my 25 and this is what I'm doing. And people were like, yeah, I need that, you know? And so it was like, it like fueled my fire. So I ended up getting 107 rejections, but I think like,
Congrats.
thank you.
I was going to say, congratulations.
It can only make you like thicker skinned, right?
Yeah, it got like, it just made me like try out for things that or put myself forward for like writing opportunities and stand-up stuff that I wouldn't have otherwise, because like I don't know, I always thought I was too dumb to write for the New Yorker, and like that year I made myself submit and they were like, yeah, sure, we'll publish this, and I was like, what? But also I had 107 rejections, you know, so it's like I think it's definitely like that in the publishing world. Like you have to like submit, oh, here's a good fact that is related to both horror and publishing. Stephen King's Carrie, which you guys were just talking about in your last episode, he threw that manuscript. This is back when things were printed on paper. He threw that manuscript in the garbage because it had been rejected from so many publishers. And his wife fished it out of the garbage and told him to submit it one more time. And that was the time that it was accepted. So
Wow.
If that is inspiring at all, I mean, I think, you know, you just have to hit the right place in the slush pile at the right time. Basically, you're gonna be looking for an agent first. And I thought maybe I didn't need an agent, but even because I had been talking directly to the publisher, but my agent doubled what I got. Yeah, they were gonna really, I mean, love them to death. They're trying to save money. Like they weren't gonna pay me what I needed to be paid to do proper research. So yeah, the agent did an awesome job. But so that's who you want to go for if you don't have a deal already. Like, look for agents, look them up online, pay for whatever, you know, $15 service you have to sign up for 1 month, and then print them all out and then email them. But yeah, you have to like cold email your manuscript. You have to have at least 3 chapters written, preferably the whole thing. And then it's just like, if you have connections, like definitely use them. If you don't, that's totally fine. My friend got a 6-figure book deal and she did not use any of her connections and she just sent it off to agents, and one of them loved it and she got a 6-figure book deal, and it was a teen novel and it's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah.
Info.
That is not what I made from my book, but I am very happy for my friend.
Yeah, but no, that's all very helpful. Like I wouldn't have thought to get an agent. You would just think like go to the publisher,
Right.
you know, but okay, I didn't even realize that they had agents for
Just
authors.
like literature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And they are I only have the one that I have. It's been my only one. She's super nice. She's a person that I would want to get coffee or drunk with, but she has 2 young twins, so we'll say coffee. She's wonderful.
So, okay, given everything that's happening in the world, but also what you've just accomplished, how's your stress level? Especially given that you're about to hopefully become, you know, a very successful author.
Oh gosh, you know, nothing is. I'm always stressed out, but I feel like you guys get that, right? Like,
Oh,
you,
I do,
like,
for
yeah,
sure.
it doesn't matter like what I just am always stressed out, but like, yeah, I mean, I hope that people like the book. I'm stressed out about the book because it's like, I hope people like it. I hope people don't get mad at it. I don't know. I'm just, you know, it's the internet. Like, I
don't read reviews.
I know. Dude, it's not even out yet and it already has 1 bad review. I'm like, how?
What?
Yeah. But I was going to ask the same question. How exactly?
I'll let you read the hate email that we got after we record this, and then maybe that'll make you feel better about
I mean, but it also means that you're doing stuff that people are listening to. So that is so important, but also, yeah.
it was more about our political views than like the actual podcast, but the fact that like someone like you'll read it.
Okay. Oh
we were
my
like,
gosh.
we've made it. We got
I know.
hate email.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was like-
totally though.
I was so like, but then I'm like, okay, I guess that means we made it.
Yeah. You guys, thank you for letting me talk about this book when we're normally talking about ghosts and
No.
stuff.
No.
We'll get to
Well,
ghosts.
yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
get to the ghosts. We got ghosts coming up. So tell everyone again, when's the book coming out?
Yes.
How can you pre-order it?
So the book is called One Day Smarter. My name is Emily Winter. You can pre-order it wherever you get your books. So basically, definitely Amazon. That's fine. And that is where I still, buy a lot of things. So when it comes to local bookstores, we just were talking about this, but I've been, a few people have been like, oh, my local didn't have it yet or doesn't have it on pre-order yet. But then a lot of local bookstores have. So you can ask your local bookstore if you are good like that, to get a pre-order for One Day Smarter. And pre-orders, I never knew about this. Pre-orders are important because the number of pre-orders on a book determines how many a bookstore orders and where they will place it. So a book that has no pre-orders will get put. You ever look at those books on the bottom shelf and you're like, oh, you didn't stand a chance, man. Those books had no pre-orders. I didn't know about this. How does your book get put on the table? You're either already famous or you got a lot of pre-orders. So pre-order is good. Get it. If you got the energy and the time, that makes me happy.
Well, as always, we'll put the link in our show notes so that all of you listening can pre-order your copy, because you don't want to be the only loser without a copy of the book, especially once they sell out. So we'll make sure people get that info.
Yeah.
I'll send you the Penguin Random House link, which is what they recommend.
Okay.
So I'll just send you that, and then, if you want to throw
We'll
that
use that.
link.
So you also mentioned that you're writing on a TV show, and you posted on your Instagram page and probably other places, but I'm only on Instagram. But it's a Nickelodeon show. It's a kids show.
It's a kid's show.
And you can't talk about being allergic.
Where you can't talk about being allergic. It's called That Girl Lele, and it comes out in September. And Lele is a rapper. She was the youngest rapper to ever be signed on a major label when she was 11, and she is so funny. And so this ridiculous show, it's like a ridiculous premise, but I love it. It's kind of magical. She is very confident, and she pops out of, she's an avatar on a phone of a shy teenager, and she pops out of her phone and becomes real. And they, she stays with them, their family, and their family doesn't know that she's an avatar. They think she's studying, an exchange student from Texas or something.
That's every 14-year-old boy's dream. I think you just described that.
Yeah, they're so cute. The kids are so sweet and funny and professional in a way that I'm just these 14-year-old girls. I'm where'd you get your clothes? What? I'm just sweating talking to them. They're so great and lovely. So I get to write jokes for that, and it is fun. And we just wrapped our first season, so that'll hopefully we'll get a second season and start that in December.
Congrats on that. Also, here comes the horror. Last time we interviewed you, you also mentioned that you and your husband were working on a horror movie script that you were inspired to write after getting married. And I'm loosely summarizing here, so correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe the idea was for a wedding horror slasher film. And tell us a little bit more about that, and where are you in the creative process of this?
So we finished our script for our 1-year anniversary, which is paper, and we were like,
Aww.
oh, we're so cute. Yeah, well, now we're past the 2-year. Where's the movie? But then we worked on it, workshopped it a little bit, and then I sent it to my manager for my comedy manager, and he never responded. So I was like, oh no, this must be the worst script ever written. And then I met him in person because of COVID. I couldn't meet him in person. So he finally was able to come to New York. I met him in person. I was like, so 3 beers in, I was like, so the script, do you remember that? And he's like, oh, I don't remember that email at all. So I was like, okay. So then he finally has read it, and thank God he likes it. And I was like, okay, so now what he's doing, another just boring and here's what's happening on the boring side of all. He's trying to basically put together, because I'm not famous and my husband is not famous. So
Yet.
Hopefully one day, whatever. It's just, we're racing the clock. We're gonna die someday. I don't even want to be famous. I just want to have a nice, comfortable life and be more successful than everyone who has wronged me. That's it.
Is that too much to ask?
Is it too much to ask?
And a hot tub. I think last time you said you want a hot tub.
I want a hot tub so bad. So anyway, he's trying to package it, which means he puts together a director, who would be interested in it and like working on it, and maybe a couple actors that maybe have like a few TV credits or something but haven't done like a movie yet. So just a little bit more I don't know, people with a little bit more, what's the word? Star power or credibility, star power, experience, all of these words. Yeah. So that's the plan. So he's working on that now, and I would love if we got to make a movie, because that would be so fun. But yeah, it's a slasher about when my husband and I were driving off. It was like a wedding up in the mountains, in like the Catskill Mountains in New York. And it was a whole weekend, and it was like everyone stayed in cabins. We were like driving away from our wedding, and we were like, this would make the best slasher movie. So we wrote it, and it's funny. He's a comedian. We wrote it, and I love it still, and I hope that we get to make it, because apparently horror movies are very cheap to make, but horror comedies, I found out, do not do well overseas. So there's no international market, but because it could be so cheap to make, it might be worth it for someone. So that's what I learned about horror and trying to get a horror movie made.
Well, I'd love to read it if not
You're
see
welcome
it,
to read
because
it.
that sounds so awesome.
It is a quick 90 pages. It is boom, 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 boom. Like, it's just like murder, murder, murder. Let's go.
Best horror movies. Keep it concise. Keep the action going. I like it. So let's talk about Comedians with Ghost Stories,
Yay.
which we talk about a lot on our show. Sharon and I kind of realized. So you finished season 3. Do you know when season 4 is going to come out yet?
Yes. So the Wednesday after Labor Day, which is coming up. That's like,
sweet.
It's very close.
September 8th, I think.
Yes, September 8th. Good job. I got to get it started, because I know people are going to get, I'm sure you'll know it too, like this, like the numbers are going to go way up for podcast listeners, like during the fall, like people get real pumped about like horror stuff. So it's time. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad you're doing another season, first of all.
I am too. I was just like,
keep going.
Yeah. I want to keep going. It's
For
hard.
sure.
It's hard. And it's bad to stop. Like, it's like what you guys do where you keep going is much better for numbers than what I've been doing. But I'm also just like, I am one man. I can't do anything, you know. You just...
It's not good for our mental health, though.
No, it's really
there's
not.
There's sometimes where I'm like, we should probably take a break for a couple weeks, but I don't know.
We'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
So do you have any memorable paranormal stories from one of your past guests that like stuck with you for whatever reason that you'd like to share, or to give our listeners a taste of like what they can expect from
Sure.
your
I know
show?
whose story I'm putting out first, for sure. This woman, MK Doherty, she's a comedian, obviously, and she has had the same ghost all her life, and it's her grandmother, and her grandmother has followed her around the world, and she has had many people, she's had like a lot of paranormal experiences, but she's also had like many spiritual people like say, oh, who's that? Is that that's my grandma. There she is, always behind her.
Wow.
For her whole life. And it's just like she's got a million like I'm getting chills, but like she's got a million examples, but I just think it's so cool when you have something that like sticks with you for a long time and also is like meaningful to you. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'm pumped about that. Yeah. Also, I'm trying to think. There was a guy that worked on Mike Brody. He worked on the Ghost Hunters show.
Yes, I listened to the past episodes.
Oh my gosh, that was from last season. You guys had a great episode.
Thank
That was awesome. Yeah. But yeah, I love your episode. I love Mike Brody's. That was crazy. There was another good Chicago one about Clarendon Hills.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
There is that one, but there was another one that stuck out to me where I think someone was in like the Ravenswood area.
Yes.
And they rented that apartment because it was really cheap. And then they found out why it was really cheap, because it was haunted as fuck.
Yes. So that, this is gonna drive me crazy. Who was that? Anyway, but yeah, the Haunted Ravenswood one is awesome. And like my sister's partner who I was talking about worked on the Candyman movie doing like for Manual Cinema. I was like, that would make a great Manual Cinema, like puppet, like scary puppet show. Yeah. So the Chicago people have really been turning them out for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of haunted Chicago. I love it.
So you mentioned that it's been a very long time since you've done stand-up, but I think you just posted recently was it like a benefit show?
It was just no, it wasn't. It was just I just did stand up like a week ago or a week and a half or something, and it was just a good show. It was just a really good show. And of course it's two like wonderful women who put it on, and they just like really pack out like a big theater in Brooklyn, and it was nice. I miss it so much. I'm trying to, but it's hard because it's like, you know, with everything. And I think when it comes to making movies and making horror movies, like how making TV, like how hard do you go into it, right? Like how do I go super hardcore now that I'm not working on my TV show for a while, because or is everything about to get shut down in October or November again? It's so weird. Yeah.
Is it like riding a bike where like once you get up on stage, it was like, oh yeah, I know how this goes?
Yeah, like I've done a couple good shows that felt like that, but then I did one show where all the boys, I went last, and it was all these guys, and they were kind of tanking, and I was like, oh, maybe they're just like not very funny. And then I was like, I'm gonna show them, and then I went up there and then also ate it, and so I was like, oh right, there's that. There's like the shows where like I was like, I'm going to do my best jokes now, because like nothing is working, and I know I need this for my self-esteem, because it's not like I have another show later tonight and one tomorrow. And it's like nothing. My best jokes were not working. I could smell myself, you know, like that was just like, so it's, you know, there's always going to be bad shows, I guess. I was just sad that I couldn't show up the boys.
That's when you blame the audience.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I just don't, I try not to do that on stage, but afterward I'm like, well, they sucked. They were, it wasn't me at all.
Also though, if it's just like negative energy, like going down, it just like pulls the whole energy of the room down. So you can also blame the guys.
I'll blame the guys.
It's a combination, you know, the audience sucked, the guys didn't help. Oh, I just looked at this and saw this phrase. So before we get on to our lightning round, when we talked to you previously, you told us how you and your writing partner were writing a pilot titled Hard Dead Nazi Dick that you were really excited about, and not gonna lie, Mindy and I were pretty excited too. For those who don't remember or didn't hear that discussion, refresh our memories on what this show is about and where are you with this project?
So this project is like the one that got us, it's actually like got us our management, and I mean, gosh, I hope I'm wrong. I don't think we're gonna sell Hard Dead Nazi Dick, unfortunately.
No!
Yeah, it's about these. I think the title can be a real turnoff, but it's also the thing that gets people to read it, so it's kind of a double-edged sword. But it's about these real sisters in Holland. Freddie and Freddie and Franny, or Freddie and their real names, like Overstegen. We changed their names for this, but they were real sisters in Holland during World War II who seduced and murdered Nazis themselves, and they were very cool. They were like teenagers when they did this, and so we wrote a like sort of a very dark comedy about them as a pilot. And we were just like so inspired by them. So that has been done for a while, and it can sometimes like, I think it's you know, it helps us find management, which like when I was talking about it, like an agent management is important for, you know, writing in comedy world. But beyond that, I don't know if it will ever be made.
It needs to be made.
Give it to Taika Waititi, because he makes Nazi stuff very funny and entertaining.
I could get it too. Yeah.
Well, we are interviewing Karen O'Leary in September, who stars on Wellington Paranormal, which is written by Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement. So maybe I'll see if
just
I
feel
can.
like, oh, it spilled out of my bra. This whole 35-page script just fell out.
Honestly, that sounds like a really amazing show.
It does.
Don't give up on it.
Yeah, no, seriously, that I would watch that, and everybody else would be into that. Hardcore.
You.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope I love it. I'm like so inspired by these women and like everything we've read about them, and then the characters that we've like based off them, that I just like, I want to see. Like there's like the pretty sister who's like really good at seducing, and then there's the kind of like badass one with like a scar on her cheek, and I want to see her so bad, you know?
It's like when we were 14, we were having lip sync contests in our friend's basement to like Man on the Moon by R.E.M. Like, that was what we were doing.
Right.
Like, can you imagine like seducing Nazis and killing them? Like, Yeah,
I don't
I need to
think-
see this.
I would have just like the whole idea of being 14 and seeing a dick would have already just been like, listen, forget World War II. I'm out. I'm terrified. Like, I know I will see one of these eventually, but I definitely don't know what to do with it. When I was like 15, my best friend who didn't even know what to do, she was just like, hold it like a hot dog and everything will be all right. And then I did that, and we sat there for like 3 hours and nothing happened. I was like, I don't know, are we done? Okay.
Worst hand job ever.
All right, should we move on to the lightning round?
Let's do it.
All right, I think we're going to, so no pressure. Just, you know how this goes. First question. What do you like most about trivia? Is it the competition, as in seeing how badly you can stump your opponent? Or are you more of like a facts and tidbits of knowledge kind of gal?
Oh, it's all about the competition. I lose every day at Jeopardy to my husband, and every day I go in thinking I'm going to beat him. Every single day. Yeah.
And to be fair, we've partnered on our trivia,
And I really was not good to you.
No.
Do you see all the swear words I'm putting back in my mouth right now? I was a bad partner for you.
I would partner up with you any day.
Thank you.
It was just
Absolutely.
unfair because she's never beaten me at horror movie trivia. It was like, it wasn't going to happen.
And that wonderful podcast host that you had with you, I felt like she was
Allison?
I felt like she was real smart. You know, you didn't get lucky either. So
All right, maybe we should switch next time.
Oh, that'd be
If we
fun.
do trivia.
Rematch.
It'll be me and
I'll go
Emily
with you. Yeah, cool.
against you and Allison.
I don't know if you'd have a lot of fun being partnered with Sharon, Emily.
We're both super competitive, it sounds like.
I am incredibly competitive.
I like to just have fun and maybe get out a few jokes during trivia. That's my idea of success, where she's like, I will slaughter all of you. So this is why we're not good at trivia together, because I'm not looking to win and she is like ready to wipe the floor.
I mean, you're the one that you want to take to like bar trivia night because you're
Yeah.
the one that will win the $100 bar tab. And I am the one that will drink that $100 bar tab that you
Oh no,
won.
she'll drink it too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
good. Very good.
All right. What is your favorite book besides One Day Smarter?
Oh, wow. Okay, I don't know what my favorite book is. I'm like a real big Nick Hornby head. I just find him like breezy and charming and funny and smart, and like, I don't know, you feel like you've read Philosophy Light whenever you read a Nick Hornby book. But I just read this, well, no, okay, let's be real. I audiobooked it. I'm going to look it up. This one that was like life-changing, but I'm also like at a point in my life where I have to decide. I'm having my ovaries out. I have to decide if I'm having kids now. And so I happened upon the most amazing novel, and it is called The Push, and it's by Ashley Audrain. And you don't have to be in my particular place in life to have it, but it just was like awesome and creepy and about creepy in a not like ghosty way. But I did just read also a very good vampire novel called The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and that I would recommend as good scary fun.
Okay.
So there are some answers, but I don't have a definitive.
Okay. I believe my old roommate has it in her possession, who was also on our show, Katie Rich, who's also a comedy writer. But we have an autographed Nick Hornby book that he wrote to both of us.
Oh my gosh.
But he spelled my name Melinda Melynda, and I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah. I guess that's how I spell my name now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did you meet him?
I didn't. Actually, a friend of ours was at a book signing and surprised us. Yeah.
So who has the book?
Katie has it.
Oh,
And do you
Katie's
know
in
which book
possession
it
of
is?
I can't remember off the top of my head. It's not about a boy, but it was like after one that came
Long Way
after
Down.
that.
I feel like that's that time. Slam is one of my favorites, and it's the YA one. It's about a 15-year-old who gets a kid pregnant.
I'll think of
But
it
he
like
does write women really well.
I've never read a Nick Hornby book.
Yeah, High Fidelity is actually his book.
I was in the movie, but
You were in the movie?
I was an extra. If you don't blink at the very end scene when they're like panning across the bar
Yeah?
when he's DJing, you can see me dancing.
Oh my gosh! You don't know how many times I watched that in college. Like every week. Like that's so
Oh
cool.
my god, it was awesome. It was like I got to spend 2 days with like John Cusack right there, and I was just like, yeah, it was an experience. Oh, and fucking Jack Black was performing for like 2 days, and this was before anyone knew who Jack Black was.
Well,
so it was like
us Mr. Show fans knew who Jack Black was.
I mean, like,
Oh, right, when you were on set?
well,
Yes,
yeah, we were on
right.
set. It was like before he was like
Oh my God.
huge. So it was like you knew him from Tenacious D. You didn't know him as like the A-list actor, you know. It was like, oh, that's the guy from Tenacious D, and also he was in that one movie where he played like the he was in a horror movie. We talked about this before. What the fuck was it?
Yeah, what was it?
It was like I still know what you did last
Yes,
summer.
yes.
Oh,
It was one
wow.
of those
Or
sequels.
something like
Yep.
I only saw him on Mr. Show, the original Mr. Show back in the day, and it was full on range with him. He was singing, he was acting like awesome.
Oh, sure. That's why he blew up, man. All right. Well, back to horror. What is the best horror movie that you've seen recently?
I just watched The Conjuring 3.
That can't be your answer.
I love The Conjuring. I love all the Conjurings. I love little Annabelle. I love everything. I had a blast watching it. And I heard so many people hated it. Maybe including you guys or you, I don't, but
It was definitely the weakest of the three.
I just felt like it was good fun. I love those two. So like I would
Yes.
watch them do anything, and
Yeah.
I think that they're so sweet. And yeah, I was like I think also I went into it like reading a couple bad reviews or something and just being like, well, it's still the pandemic and you can't also party every night. So we're watching a movie. And then I was like, whoa, I'm having fun, you know? So yeah, that's been the one that I also like, what have I watched lately? There hasn't been that much new that's out. I'm pumped for Candyman, but right. And I haven't been watching old stuff. I don't know. I think that has to be it.
All right.
Am I missing any really new ones that have
I mean, there's a ton of new ones, but they're not all like super popular.
Okay.
I mean, there's a new Spiral movie
Okay.
from the Book of Saw with Chris Rock, Quiet Place 2.
Oh, right.
I haven't
don't
watched that yet.
I don't
because,
want to.
We watched it. It's actually, I liked it.
Did
It's
you
good.
like it?
the first one, I did.
No, this
I
one's
wasn't
not sad.
expecting it, and I cried so hard I got the hiccups.
This
Like,
one's not sad at all.
Okay. Well, then
Yeah.
maybe I'll watch it. Yeah, that's
It's
the
actually a
thing.
comedy.
Yeah, it's about my comedy shows, A Quiet Place. Too quiet. Yeah, okay. I'll give it a shot. Yeah, I found the first one too. I mean, it was well done, you know, but I was like, I was sad. And I was like, also sometimes I get the chatties when I'm watching movies. And so it's not a good movie to be chatting.
No, it's like yeah.
You really
'Cause
ruined the
it's
whole
so
movie.
quiet.
Yeah.
It's very quiet. Yeah, but there's a bunch of good ones on Shudder that just came out,
Right.
and like
Okay.
some on Netflix and stuff. But yeah, like nothing like, honestly, there's been like a handful of like really good ones this year. But
What's your favorite this year?
I know my answer.
Well, what is it?
Well, it's torn between Saint Maud,
Okay,
which
Saint
I thought
Maud's
was
really
brilliant, and I'm gonna blank on it. I'm glad we're not live.
I like Psycho Gorman.
I didn't watch that.
What's the one?
You need to
Hunter
watch
Hunter?
that.
I Blame Society.
Oh, I didn't watch that
Right?
either. I'm
Isn't
pretty
that
sure I
what it's
watched Saint
called?
Maud.
I
But
hated that movie.
I
Wait,
loved my friend's in it, and a friend
the
of a
movie
friend
with Peter
wrote it.
Dinklage.
No,
I Blame Society.
no,
oh, Saint Maud, I did watch that. That was really good.
fucking good,
That
right?
was really good. I
But
really
I
liked
bel-
that.
Which one's I Blame Society?
It's
I've
the
seen
one
like
about the woman writer who it's an actual
Yeah.
wait
subversion of the genre. Like there's been a lot of talk about subverting the horror genre, I feel like, over the past year, and this actually does it.
Yeah, I think I remember really liking that.
Wait,
where
well,
she-
can I see who's in it?
My friend Megan's in it for like 5 seconds. It's about, I don't want to say
I
what
don't
it's
know who
about.
that is, but
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
watch this.
It's
I saw
really
it.
good.
I'm
And
taking a screenshot.
as a writer, I think you might
Like
enjoy
it?
it because it's a bit of a metaphor-y kind of movie, but it's really fucking good. And it's made by, it's co-written by a man and a woman, but it's a female.
Spencer
It's
liked it
right.
more than me, but I thought it was unique. It was.
Yeah.
It's definitely original.
Yeah.
I think you'll like it.
What was the
Emily.
other one that you said?
Psycho Gorman.
Psycho Gorman. That one I've not watched.
That one's really fun. It's like Toxic Avenger meets like Power Rangers
Oh my gosh.
meets like the Goonies.
This is just based on the thing alone, this is like, based on the art alone, I would be like, I would walk in, and my brother-in-law lives in the apartment below us, so I would see them watching it and be like, bye. Or like, I would see it come up and be like, I'm not watching this, but if you say, if a woman says it's good, I'm gonna watch it.
It's so funny, and the little girl that stars in it, it's basically like a little girl who makes like this alien monster creature be like her slave.
Oh,
Yeah.
love it.
It's a full-on comedy.
It's a full-on comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
it's really good.
Great. Cool.
And I think it's on it's free now somewhere. Hulu, maybe.
It was on Shudder. I don't know. Yeah,
Oh, maybe it's on
around.
Shudder. Yeah, it's on somewhere for free.
Can
Wally's
I change
Wonderland
mine
was
to
another.
Saint Maud because I like that a lot.
Yes. All right.
And then
all
I'll
right.
put Conjuring 3 at number 2.
We literally
Done.
only watched Conjuring 3 because of Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga.
Yeah.
like
Mostly Patrick Wilson.
mostly Patrick Wilson.
Oh, you know what it was? It was like a procedural. It was like almost like a police procedural with them in it. And I really like didn't mind it, but
Yeah.
it's not a horror movie in the way that the other ones were, or in what we've come to expect. It was just a police procedural.
That's how the new Spiral is, and I think that's why people hated it, because it's not like the other Saw movies. But I love police procedurals, so
Yeah,
I'm
so
like,
do-
it's great, and it has Chris Rock doing like his bits, like it's,
Great.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't look at me. I haven't seen it.
Haters gonna hate.
I fell off the Saw movies because
For sure.
because of an ex, because I associate all of that particular torture with an ex-lover. Who, we saw him every year together and then broke up. So
Well, Jigsaw's not even in this one, so
Okay.
maybe
maybe I could do it.
Yeah. All right. What question are we on? So we got the horror movie. What are you looking forward to doing most when and if the pandemic finally ends and things go back to normal? And we are just, for argument's sake, going to pretend that it will.
Okay. Yeah, I never got to take my honeymoon. It got canceled because of COVID, so I want to do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where
we
were
were
you
gonna
gonna
go
go?
to Italy. We had everything planned, and then it was so funny because it was. You remember it was like really bad in Italy before it was bad here, and we were like messaging people on Airbnb. We had like all these places on the Amalfi Coast that we were gonna stay, and they were like, "Just come. It's not really that bad." And then by April, it was like, "No." It was like end of April, early May. It was like, "No way." So we got almost all our money back. Which we then used on a nice couch, since that's where we spend all of our time over the last whatever.
Smart.
But yeah, I would like to go on my honeymoon.
All right, everyone, get vaccinated so Emily can go on her fucking honeymoon.
Seriously. Oh my God. Okay, so what do you miss most about Chicago?
Oh, good question. I mean, I'm a White Sox fan. Okay, great. You're South. Are you a Cubs?
My whole family's White Sox fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a Southsider, but my whole family is Cubs,
Cubs
fans,
fans.
and so am I. Sorry.
That's okay. I know that they're not the cool team, but they've been my team forever, and I love them, and I miss them, and I've never felt like the Mets or the Yankees have any like pull for me. So I don't get to keep up with the White Sox, and I would love to do that
And where do they play?
at Sox Park.
White Sox?
I was gonna say.
Oh,
you were
I
gonna
just
say
said-
Comiskey.
No, I was just gonna say. I always just say Sox Park because it's
Okay.
like it was like U.S. Cellular.
Yeah.
Yeah. But first, like the original
Was
is Comiskey,
Comiskey,
and
right.
it's like always for me. It's like
It's
Gonna say-
Comiskey.
It's always Comiskey. Like Sears Tower. Fuck
Yep.
the Willis Tower.
It's always that.
It's the
What
Sears
is
Tower.
Sox Park called now? 'Cause it's not U.S. Cellular anymore.
I
Is
thought
it?
it was. I don't know.
Is it still? Or there's something in between Comiskey and what it is now? Like a
U.S.
different...
Bank, Google,
Yeah.
Amazon, Yahoo.
Yeah.
Part. I don't know.
But yes, as a child, as a softball playing child, I definitely rubbed my butt on the old Comiskey home plate for good luck when they rebuilt.
Nice.
Guaranteed rate
Guaranteed
field.
rate field.
Oh,
Jeez.
come on, really?
Yep.
You mean Comiskey or Sox Park? Yes.
Sox Park.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Either
That's
way.
That's so lame. All right, this is the toughest question,
Oh no.
both for Chicago and New York. You're sort of representing here.
Okay.
You ready?
Huh?
Chicago pizza or New York pizza?
Oh, Chicago. In a heartbeat.
Woo woo.
Yeah. I love New York
alright.
pizza, but like also like what I love about my favorite thing about New York pizza, and there is pizza that I love. And my friend visiting from LA last week, we did go get like really good pizza in New York, and it was delicious. But my favorite thing about New York pizza is I'm like spitting as I talk now. Is the accessibility of it. Just like one of my favorite things about New York is just like being in Manhattan, walking from one comedy show to another comedy show, realizing you have a hunger pain, and just there is definitely a pizza place on your block. Is the pizza really good? No. Does it fold in your hand and then go right into your mouth? Yes, and it is $1 and it is a glorious feeling. But I am a deep dish lady.
Yeah, you can't do that with a deep dish.
No.
You need a knife and a fork.
It's yeah. I mean, I love and miss it, and so it's special to me now because I can't have it all the time.
Aw. So, favorite Chicago pizza place?
So I grew up on Giordano's, so that's I think my place because that's what tastes like my childhood, and it wasn't until I was like in my 20s that I had Lou Malnati's, which I also love. But I think like Giordano's is the one that like tastes like being a kid.
Aw.
What about Beggars?
I've never had Beggars.
I've never had Beggars.
What?
There are a lot of Beggars on the South Side.
Oh my
right?
God, there's so many Beggars on the South Side.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was either because I think it's only on the south side.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh,
We got you a Beggars pizza like once when we first started dating before we both went vegan. That was, I think, like your only Beggars experience.
Yeah.
But well, now that you're home, you're gonna have to
I
get
should try it.
Beggars before
I
you
have
go
a
back
whole
to New
week.
York.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And again, we're talking about Beggars Pizza, not beggars like as in people that are begging.
Are you talking about? I'm spitting again. Oh my God. Are you talking about? Do they have deep dish or?
Yes.
Oh, they
Their
have good
deep dish is.
dish?
Oh,
I did not know this.
It's better than Giordano's.
Wow.
A
Did
lot
not know
better than
this.
Giordano's.
What the heck?
I had no idea.
And I recommend going to, if it's still open, the Blue Island one on the
Okay.
corner of, I think it's Pulaski and like 127th.
That's not that far from where I'm staying.
Yeah.
Great.
Actually, yeah, that's true.
You should go pick some on the way home to.
Yeah, more pizza. That sounds great. Yeah, I'll do it.
All right. Well, thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
That's it. You passed the lightning round. You did it.
Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. Listeners, I'm sorry I didn't say enough scary stuff.
Quick, get one in.
Do you know that you lose 7 pounds of skin per year? That's
scary.
That's terrifying, right?
And most of it ends up on your pillow and in your mouth and your
Yeah.
floor and
We could write a horror movie about all of the people sitting in this room that are just old dead skin. They all come together.
and we're just breathing them in.
We're breathing them in.
Breathing in dead people's skin constantly.
Well, we're not dead yet.
Not yet. Is there anything else that you want to talk about, promote? If you want to remind people once again where they can get your book and where can people find you on the interwebs?
Oh, thank you. Yes, my Instagram and Twitter handle is Emily MC Winter. I'm sorry, it's not my name. My middle name's McKenna. I'm very sorry. Emily McWinter is how you find me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm just a lurker creeper on TikTok, just watching all the funny dogs fall down, but not get hurt. The book is One Day Smarter. You can get it wherever you get your books, wherever you pre-order your books to help authors that you don't hate. That's it. Thank you.
Sorry. All right. Well, thank you all for listening to us. Thank you again to Emily. Please write to us at whorestalkhorror@gmail.com. You can also write to us with any episode ideas, recommendations on what to watch or read, ghost stories, true crime stories, creepy stories, whatever you want us to read or talk about on the show.
Please subscribe to us, rate and review us because it really does help us get more exposure. If you are able in these trying times, they're not trying, they are trying. Please join our Patreon. You can get early access to episodes, see exclusive posts, maybe even get some cool shit in the mail. Most of all, please be kind to each other, be safe out there. And as always,
Emily, you want to say this with us? Thanks for getting creepy with us.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And as always, thanks for getting creepy with us. Sharon, do you want a beer?
Oh my God.